Hello, good morning, my beloved kids. I hope you are all doing well. Welcome back to my class. We are still with the chapter 2, still with the scientific notation. So let's continue in the same topic. Before going to a new session today, I'm going first to solve the homework that we have given to you last session. Let's start from the first question. So add and subtract, write your answer in scientific notation. Let's start from the first expression here. It is 4.2 times 10 to the power of 6 plus 2.25 times 10 to the power of 5 plus 2.8 times 10 to the power of 6. So you have two ways basically to solve this. Here I'm choosing to change the power of this middle number so that it will be the same as the power of these two so that I can add them together. You can also change this power to 5 and this to 5. So the main thing is that you should have powers of 10 or equal to do your operations. Otherwise, you cannot. So to make it easier, I'm just going to change this. So in order to add the power, increase the power, or multiply by 10, I should divide my number here by 10. So I'm going to move my decimal point one place. To which direction? To the left, right? So this number is equal to 0.225 times 10 to the power of 6. I move my decimal point one place here, and I will increase my power with 1. Good. The same number stays here, the other one stays here. Now, very easy. What you are going to do is make your operations on these numbers. So 4.2 plus 0.225 plus 2.8. This is 7.225. Now you will add your 10 to the power of 6 finally. So this is the final answer. All right. In the second one, 8.5 times 10 to the power of 3 minus 5.3 times 10 to the power of 3 minus 1.0 times 10 to the power of 2. All right. What you are going to do, you can increase this power by 1, so you will have the same powers at all tens. Or the second method, I'm going to convert all of these numbers to standard notation, add them, then convert back to scientific notation. And that's what I did here. So I converted this number to a standard notation. What is it? So it's 10 to the power of 3. So in order to make it 1 here, I should move my decimal point to the right. How many places? 3 places. So 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. So this number is equal to 8,500. Good. The second one, 5.3 times 10 to the power of 3. The same thing. I'm going to move my decimal point 3 places to the right. So this number is equal to 5,300. Finally, 1.0 times 10 to the power of 2. This is 100. You just move in the decimal point 2 places because I have 2 on the power of 10. Good. Now, they are all in standard notation. You do your normal operation as usual. 8,500 minus 5,300 minus 100, which is 3,190. Now, this is written in standard notation. Remember, the question asks you to write it in scientific notation, so you should convert it back. So 3,190 is equal to what? I need to write it as a multiple of a number that is between 1 and 10. So I should move my decimal point to the left now. How many places? 1, 2, 3. Now the result is 3.19. Is this number between 1 and 10? Yes, then this is correct. Now times 10 to the power of what? Since I moved it 3 places, so the power of 10 will be 3. So this operation has this result, 3.19 times 10 to the power of 3. Good. Now let's go to question number 2. It says the light travels at speed of 1.86 times 10 to the power of 5 miles per second. It takes light from the sun about 4.8 times 10 to the power of 3 seconds to reach Saturn. Now, we wanted to find the approximate distance between sun and Saturn. How to find it? First, we write the rule. We know that distance equals to speed times time. I'm looking for the distance. I have the speed here, and I have the time. So speed times time. Speed is 1.86 times 10 to the power of 5. Time is 4.8 times 10 to the power of 3. Now we have multiplication. We said multiplication and division in scientific notation is very easy. Just multiply all things together. So I'm going to multiply these numbers together. 1.86 times 4.8. This is 8.928. Now the powers of 10. Remember the laws of power. 10 to the power of 5 times 10 to the power of 3 is equal to what? We add these two powers. So it is 10 to the power of 5 plus 3, which is 8. So this number times 10 to the power of 8. Don't forget to write the unit here. It is miles. Why? Because my speed is in miles per second. Great. Now, before going to today's topic, let's watch this video together. I'm going to show you how to use the scientific calculator to do your scientific notation calculations. Enjoy the video and we will be back to the class.
This is a tutorial on how to use a calculator to do scientific notation. Let's start with our first example. Here we have 1.26 times 10 to the third power. Now if we wanted to see this number when it's not in scientific notation, we would normally just do the 1.26 and then times 10 raised to the third power, giving us 1,260 as a result. Now there's actually a simpler way to do this on the calculator. Rather than doing the times 10 raised to the third power, the calculator uses this uppercase E. So if we put in 1.26 E3, that represents 1.26 times 10 to the third power. Now this E that I'm referring to isn't just the typical letter E from the calculator, but it's this blue E above the comma button. So to put this in the calculator, we'll do 1.26, and then to get to E, we'll hit second, comma, and then put 3. And then when we hit enter, we'll get the same exact result. Now that we know how to do this, let's try one more example. So here we have 360,000 times 80,000. Now rather than typing out all these zeros, let's convert these into scientific notation. So 360,000 would be the same thing as 3.6 times 10 to the fifth. And 80,000 would be the same thing as 8 times 10 to the fourth power. Now let's do that multiplication on our calculator. So we have 3.6 times 10 to the fifth times 8 times 10 to the fourth, giving us a result of 2.88 times 10 to the 10th power. Now if you ever need to write down a specific answer in scientific notation, you will not want to use this E. That's strictly just a calculator notation. So in order to conventionally write out your answer, you'll need to write it as 2.88 times 10 to the 10th power. And that's how you do scientific notation on your calculator.
So as you've seen in the video, that's actually a type of a calculator. You may get another or different type of calculator and the buttons are different. Let's take this example that I have. So in order to use the powers of 10, instead of having E, here you have 10 to the power of something. Small square, colored square. So you go and use the same thing. You click Shift and you click Log here. So the Shift basically works as the same as the Shift that you have in your keyboard of your PC. So it moves to the second function, or you shift to the second function of your button, which is 10 to the power of something. So for this type of calculators, you use this. It is usually showing small 10. Also, sometimes people use this one, times 10 to the power of x. They are all the same. Good. Let's take a few examples. The table shows approximate areas for 3 continents, and we wanted to know the total area of these continents in scientific notation. We are going to use our calculator to calculate this total area. How to find it? The total area is basically the addition of these 3 numbers. So we need to find the sum of these numbers. So using the calculator, I'm going to write these numbers. So it is 4.4 times 10, so shift 10 to the power of 13. Okay, no, I should go down, plus 3.02 times 10 to the power of, so like this, to the power of 13, down, plus 1.04 shift 10 to the power of 13. So the result is 8.46 times 10 to the power of 13. You notice this? It's different than the calculator you saw in the video. It's not showing e, but it's showing small 10, which is the same notation, okay? So it is 8.46 e to the power of 13, which is the same answer here. Now, after you do your calculations, of course, in your calculator, you need to copy it back to your maybe notebook or somewhere. You usually don't write it using the e or small 10, so you should write it as a normal notation. So that's the number you got from your calculator. Now you write it as 8.46 times 10 to the power of 13. You change the e and you write it times 10 to the power of 13. Now here is small remark here. This is meter squared because my area is in meter squared. But sometimes if the number is very huge, like this, we convert the meter squared into kilometer squared. How? How to convert? So 1 kilometer squared contains 1,000 or 10,000 meters squared, right? So I need to convert this number. So I'm going to divide this number by 10 to the power of 6. Why? Again, because to convert from meter squared to kilometer squared, you divide by 10,000 or 10 to the power of 6. So this number divided by 10 to the power of 6, it is the same number times 10 to the power of 13 minus 6, which is 7 in kilometer squared. Great. Now, this is another easy example. It's just like asking you to write these numbers here in a calculator notation. Okay, all what you are going to do is you convert or change this times 10 to the power with e. So 7.5 times 10 to the power of 5 in calculator is written as 7.5 e5. This represents the power. For the negative power, the same, you write 3e minus 7. Same thing for this number, 2.7 e13. In here, I need you to convert back from the scientific notation that is used in the calculator to the normal scientific one. So the e is written as times 10. You change it, but don't forget to write this minus 1 as the power of 10. So you should put it up here. The same thing here, 5.6 times 10 to the power of 12. Here my power is minus 8. I will raise it to the power of 10. Alright guys, Thank you for following today's class. I know it's very easy. I want you to find an application of the scientific calculator, the one that I have here. Also, you can buy it or purchase it. You can find it anywhere. You may need it for these big numbers calculations, because usually making them by hand gives you some mistakes. So you better use the calculator, of course, when it's allowed. All right, don't forget to get into classroom.google.com. Join this classroom, which is Math 8B. For those who did not do yet, do by putting this code V22LCVS. If you have any questions, concerns, remarks, or jokes, all right, because I miss you guys and I miss your jokes, send them in there and let's talk there. All right, take care of yourselves, sleep tight, use sanitizers, keep yourself safe, and see you tomorrow.